Next question, Deputy Bernard Durkan, 30 seconds.
Thank you, Eoghan Corder. This question seeks to ascertain the extent to which it is expected precisely to have available a specific number of local authority houses, and I specify local authority houses only, in order to determine two things: A, the degree to which the waiting list can be reduced, and B, the extent to which the market is moving or growing or fluctuating on an annual basis.
Ministers, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Eoghan Corder, and thank you, Deputy, for the question. The implementation of the Government's Rebuilding Ireland Action Plan is well underway, and significant progress has been made. In particular, the social housing construction programme has expanded significantly, comprising over 17,500 homes at the end of Q3 2018, over 40% up on the position at the end of the third quarter of 2017. And while final 2018 delivery data is not yet available, I'm satisfied that further substantial progress was made on the social housing build programme last year. And I'm determined to keep this momentum going across all areas of social housing delivery in 2019, including local authority build and AHB build, and new homes secured through Part 5 delivery. Over 6,200 new build social homes are targeted for delivery this year, some 40% higher than the corresponding target for 2018. Specifically, local authorities will contract for the delivery of over 3,000 of these newly constructed social homes, while around 600 more are expected to be added to the stock of local authorities through Part 5 new construction. The Rebuilding Ireland land map shows that a significant quantum of land is available to local authorities to support social housing delivery, although the position of individual local authorities varies significantly. And my department engages closely with local authorities in relation to opportunities to acquire additional lands, and in addition, turnkey developments and delivery through Part 5 provide opportunities to secure new build social housing in areas where local authority access to land is constrained. The work of the newly established Land Development Agency will also be important in harnessing public lands for housing development. Thank you.
1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Eoghan Corder. I would seek to inquire, perhaps, if due cognizance has been taken of the fact that when the private sector builds houses for letting or reletting, they have to get a profit. That increases the rent chargeable to the tenant, and as a result it makes the economy less competitive because it's costing more. Can I ask if it is recognised that it is necessary to provide local authority direct build houses in the fastest and shortest possible time, in order to ensure that not so many people are involved in the production of the houses, but simply a contract is given to the private sector to build a specific number of houses within a specified time, and as a result contribute fairly substantially to the competitiveness of the economy in the future?
Minister, 1 minute.
Thank you, Eoghan Corder, and thank you, Deputy, for your follow-up question. I think you're absolutely right in terms of that approach. I mean, we have taken the view, as the government under Rebuilding Ireland, that the state needs to be directly involved in the building of houses, social housing homes, and that was the first priority, to get that stream of social housing under development. And obviously then as well, we want to see things like cost rental, and we have the affordable schemes underway as well, while at the same time making sure that construction itself is increasing across the country, because there's no point talking about the price of a home if a home isn't actually being built. That's why this year the stock of social housing will increase by 10,000 homes, and the majority of those will be directly built by local authorities, either working with housing bodies or contracting directly with builders. Over 3,000 of those homes will be local authorities contracting with builders to build social housing homes on their own land, or where they don't have access to land but it's in the right area, to actually do turnkeys. And by turnkey we mean actually engaging before even planning has been granted. Where the land is there, we know we need social housing, to engage with the developer to build on that site. So 10,000 new homes will come into the stock of social housing. Interestingly, when we have the data for 2018, we'll be looking back at 2018 and seeing, for all the homes that were built over the course of last year, and the Taoiseach made this point earlier, between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 of those homes that were newly built will be social housing homes. That hasn't happened in this country for a very long time, and that will continue this year and into next year as well. Thank you.
Final supplementary.
Eoghan Corder, it didn't happen for a very long time, but it needs to happen now. And I acknowledge what the Minister is saying, and I hope that it progresses satisfactorily. I think could I ask if it is recognised that in order to progress this issue, to my mind there have been more than 100,000 people in local authority waiting lists for as long as I can remember, and only when the economy goes down does that list go down. So the situation that we now have to deal with is, in the present economic situation, is due regard being taken of the need to provide for a growing economy, sufficient number of direct bill local authority houses, which puts them way outside the need for a profit and for anybody to have a profit, an ongoing profit or whatever, and create stability amongst a certain group of cohort of people who are looking forward to that kind of alleviation.
May I get final response from the Minister?
Thank you, László Corla. I think the Deputy is absolutely right to raise the prospect of future shocks to the economy or what might happen in a downturn in relation to the production of social housing homes. One of the things that we have tried to do in Rebuilding Ireland, and which we have done, I think, successfully, is to make sure that regardless of what happens into the future in the economy, if it's a slowdown in growth or something else happens, that we will always, as a state, be providing public housing. That's why we have the different streams of delivery, so that if in one area of delivery, say it be an AHB, and AHB gets into difficulty, it can no longer provide social housing homes, well, the slack can be picked up by another AHB or by a local authority or by Part 5. So there will always be social housing homes being built in the economy, regardless of what's happening in the wider economy. We didn't have that with the crash, not just because our construction industry fell apart, but because at that time, social housing output was almost exclusively outsourced to the private sector. So when the private sector collapsed, of course, with that came the collapse of social housing. What we want to do differently this time, and what we are doing differently, is to make sure that regardless of what is happening, social housing has always been done. We had the provision, ring-fence funding for the first time under Rebuilding Ireland, which hadn't happened before with the housing programme. This year we'll spend more money on social housing in 1 year, or housing in general in 1 year, than has ever been spent in a previous year by an Irish government in the history of the state. And also with things like cost rental, by actually getting those models up and working and financed by bodies like the European Investment Bank with super low finance, we'll be able to ensure that a much bigger section of housing that's been delivered to rent is being delivered for cost rental, not for the profit, but actually to deliver sustainable housing solutions using public land. And that's one of the things that the LDA will be doing as well. Thank you.